So meet Richard Fuld. As the CEO of Lehman Brothers, he was a titan, a real heavyweight on Wall Street with a reputation for being, well, terrifying. He built his entire career on aggressive risk-taking, on winning. And in the world of high finance, he was considered absolutely untouchable. I mean, just look at the sheer scale of this gamble. Under his leadership, Lehman Brothers went all in on some of the riskiest bets you can imagine. Subprime mortgages. These were basically home loans given to people who probably couldn't pay them back. Lehman bet billions and billions of dollars that housing prices would just keep going up forever. And for a while, the system rewarded him for it. Investors, regulators, everybody trusted him. But all that trust, it kind of begs a really scary question, doesn't it? What if the entire foundation of the financial world he was playing in was just fundamentally broken? What if this whole thing wasn't just one man's wild gamble, but a system that was actually designed for a disaster like this? Well, it turns out this wasn't just one guy making a few bad calls. This was about the mechanics of a high-stakes game that was, let's face it, pretty much rigged from the start. Okay, so here's how the game worked, broken down into 4 simple steps. First, banks hand out these super risky home loans to people they knew couldn't really afford them. Then they take thousands of these little ticking time bombs and bundle them all together into these complex investments. Now, here's the truly insane part. They would then get these packages of bad loans stamped with a safe, AAA rating and sell them to pension funds and investors all over the world. And the money just kept pouring in. And this just perfectly explains the psychology of the whole thing. As long as the money's flowing and everyone's getting rich, who's going to be the one to stop the party? The profits were huge, the bonuses were even bigger. People rarely ask questions when things are going this well. And that, my friends, is how you grow a financial bubble. It's not some loud, obvious threat. It grows silently, invisibly, and it's incredibly dangerous. But here's the one thing you have to know about bubbles. A rule that has never, ever been broken. They always, always pop. And in 2008, that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't a slow leak. It was a massive, catastrophic explosion. And it all happened so fast, it was dizzying. It kicked off when housing prices, for the first time in years, started to fall. All of a sudden, people couldn't pay back those risky loans. By September 15th, Lehman Brothers, the untouchable giant, was bankrupt. Literally overnight. And that one event was the match that lit a wildfire of panic across the entire globe. And just like that, the music stopped. The whole illusion of safety and endless money, it just shattered. This was the moment that we now call the global financial crisis. And the scariest part? Nobody was ready for how bad it was about to get. So when the dust finally settled and all those trillions were gone, who was left holding the bag? Who actually paid the price for all of this? You know, this slide really tells the whole story. On one side, you have the people who designed the crisis. No prison time, no criminal charges. The very system they broke was then used to bail them out. And on the other side, you have the public, left with the wreckage. Millions of people lost their homes, their jobs, their entire life savings. 2 completely different outcomes. Which brings us right back to that first question. Why? Why did nobody go to jail? The official line was always that proving criminal intent for this stuff is just too complicated. But you have to wonder, was it really too complicated? Or was that just a really convenient excuse? And that question leads us right to the final reveal. The truth about the 2008 crash that the people in charge really don't like to talk about. Here it is. It all comes down to this one idea. The system protects those who understand it. It wasn't that what Fuld did was strictly illegal, you see. It's that he was playing inside a set of rules so complex, so obscure, that they acted as a shield, no matter how much damage he caused to the outside world. So while it's easy to point the finger at one guy, Richard Fuld, he wasn't acting in a vacuum. He was the ultimate product of a Wall Street culture where taking gigantic, reckless risks was rewarded with gigantic bonuses. And the consequences? Well, that was always someone else's problem. And that's the absolute key takeaway here. When the whole house of cards finally came tumbling down, what was the system's #1 priority? It wasn't helping the millions of people who lost everything. Its priority was saving itself. It saved the banks, not the people. And that leaves us with one really uncomfortable question, doesn't it? If that culture of reckless risk hasn't really changed, and if the system is still fundamentally designed to protect itself first, what on earth is stopping this from happening all over again? And that's something we really have to think about. Because if there's one thing we learned from 2008, it's that the next big one, it's not going to come with a warning.